I wonder if these megachurches realize how positively medieval Catholic they are. Before we talk about these megachurches, let's talk about these megachurches. Starting in the medieval era, you have the building of large worship spaces. Cathedrals just kept getting bigger and bigger. And it's not necessarily because they had to keep up with population growth. It was because these were a manifestation of people's power. The city is so wealthy, they have a giant church. And certainly these spaces were very ornamented. You can see sculptures outside to tell the people, even if you're not inside, what the faith was about. But people often look at medieval Christian art and they assume medieval life was so staid. Everyone was just, When in fact, a lot of medieval faith was pretty exciting. Much of Christian medieval practice was in performance. There was scores of free performances that would tell the story of Jesus, for example. And so during the Christmas season, you have performances of like the Nativity, but it's not like this thing that you might know where kids do it. It'd be a full-on performance and there'd be days and days of performance. On the 26th, basically a live stoning, almost, of an actor to venerate St. Stephen, the martyr. Performances to honor the Feast of the Innocents when, as Matthew relates, King Herod is very angry that Jesus has been born and he goes on to massacre many innocents. It depends on your practice as to how many. In honor of Jesus' circumcision, the play of Daniel, who was famously thrown to the lions and survived. But overall, medieval Catholicism was very performance-based. There was a lot of plays and extravaganzas. And a lot of this was actually happening because of things like building projects. And the fact that many of the people in power in medieval Europe were not taking a vow of poverty. And the excesses of the church often rode on the backs of the regular people. But that said, there's a major difference between the medieval church and these megachurches. The churches I showed you before were civic ventures, and they did a lot of civic good. Medieval churches were largely community halls. These megachurches are basically private corporations. And so all these smoke and mirrors are to try to help people ignore the fact that this is personal greed.